Yeah, guys. Hello again, everybody. This is Lou Tenor. Welcome you to the Enhanced Sports Show. It's July 29th, almost at the end of July here, folks. Wow. What a year. This year's gone by rather quickly. Anyway, the number to call, of course, is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat again, 512-543-4662. And we'll be here until just before 6 o'clock when Rizal McGee takes over his fine show. Don't forget, if you can't make it to the show live, you can go to YouTube and dial in the Enhanced Sports Show, and you'll see the show in its entirety along with other shows from the past few weeks. And before we begin, I want to wish a birthday shout out to my mom who has a birthday tomorrow. I'm not gonna mention the age, okay? Forget it. I'm not going there. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm gonna bring everybody in right now. If you'll bear with me. By the way, we are expecting a storm maybe before the show ends. So if I do have to, cut out early, I think you'll understand why. Because the last thing I want to do is have the power go out while I'm doing the show here. So just heads up on that, folks. Okay. Thank you. All right. So let me bring everybody in. All right. Come in. Steve Davidson. Okay. There we go. Matt. There we go. Okay. Mikey. Diane. Diane. Okay. I know you're out there somewhere. And Jimmy, I think. It's Jimmy. Okay. All right. Okay. So, um, yeah, I'll start off. Yeah. Well, I think let's start off with the MLB Hall of Fame, which was last week. Not a very exciting Hall of Fame to be asked me. Only two people got in. Winners and they said baseball's winners and losers of the ESPN. Well, if you get in, of course you're a winner. But only two people got in this Hall of Fame here, so it wasn't much to get excited about. The 2023 Writers Association was in, and Scott Rowland is the newest member of the Hall of Fame. He also joins Fred McGriff, the crime dog, who was elected in December by the inaugural Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. That's rather new. ESPN experts Buster Onley Bradford Doolittle, in relation to Eliza Doolittle. Oh no, and Aiden Aiden Gonzalez and Jesse Rogers for examining the 2023 vote and what it means to look ahead with the future votes hold for this year's candidates and those to come. Besides Rowan, okay, Todd Helton, who besides Rowan, who else is the biggest winners of this year's ballot? Only said Todd Helton, whose voting share took a major leap forward with 5 years remaining on the ballot. It's evident he'll get it next year or maybe in 2025 based on his personal positional dominance in the middle of his career. Okay. Doolittle said Hilton with Billy Wagner not far behind. Hilton continues to gain support and is now on a level where it seems to be certain he'll get over the threshold eventually. That's pretty true. Wagner only has 2 years left to go, so it's a little more uncertain, but his percentage continues to grow. Also, McGriff thought he was so modest, he may actually think he's makes him the bigger loser. Ooh, that doesn't sound right. Gonzalez said Helton is the obvious choice because he is nearing that 75% threshold and has enough time to get there. But I'll go with someone else who's getting close, say Andrew Jones, who played with the Braves, who still has 4 years of his eligibility remaining. Uh, okay. Jones. Hold on, there's more. Rogers said Carlos. Uh, Rogers said Carlos Beltran. About half the voters believe that he should be in already. A certain portion undoubtedly didn't vote for him in year one of eligibility because of the aforementioned cheating scandal. I'm not going to go into that. But some of them will likely vote for him in the future. And he still has 9 years to put distance between his career and the fateful final year in the majors. Meanwhile, he only needs to appear on 25% more ballots, assuming those that voted him continue to do so. All right, so kind of a short list this year. But Steve, what were you saying about that? What do you make of it? Right. Yes. For those of you who don't remember, about 400 years ago, when I was young, there was a thing called McGruff the Crime Dog, and it said, "Take a bar at a crime." Now I know his name was McGruff, but you kind of get the similarity, McGruff. So it's kind of fitting. So I get those of you under the age of 40 probably don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Well, Surge of being wrong, born in the wrong generation. Oh boy, yeah. What you mean, McGriff? McGruff was McGruff. I'll explain that later, Die. Yeah, but okay. So um, that's how that worked, and he was pretty good, of course. For the Braves. Despite all that, though, it's amazing that they only won one title. Despite having 12 division titles in that run. I mean, that's just unthinkable. A team that dominated the National League, and all they can get was one World Series back in 1995, and yet it took them almost 30 years to get another one. Hmm. Go figure that out. All right, Matt, your thoughts. Hey, I'm older than you are. Come on, I'm older than you are. I'm not as young as I look, Matt. But anyway, your thoughts, Matt. Your thoughts on the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Would you speak up again? I couldn't hear that. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, right. You know, give people the proper credit. Give them where credit is due. Hmm, that's interesting. So I think he is well deserved. Well, you know, but like I said, it's a short list. All right, Jimmy, your thoughts. That's true. That's when the Rockies were actually a decent team. Now, forget it. well, I shouldn't. I shouldn't go that far, but you get the idea. You know that far. Helton, I think, is well deserving, as well as a few other choices. It's just a shame that only two people got in this year. The Hall of Fame isn't what it used to be. There's the Baseball Hall of Fame. All right, Diane, your thoughts? Diane. Oh, he does. Believe me, he does. Diane, he took a baseball right all along his career. No question about that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Okay, but only said the voters. Of course I do. You should have seen the joke I did. You should have seen it. Oh wait, if you guys want to hear a joke, you should see what I did about with the Commanders. Steve, you're gonna like this though. I'll explain later. Okay, only the only so the voters seem to care less about defense, despite the fact that more we know more than ever it's about impact. And even though they did vote, Ronan, Jones, Omar Vizquel, and Hunter are all in conversation among the best defenders ever at their respective positions. I'll buy that. And works the Doolittle, I think, pretty much the same thing. Gonzalez said, "I'm really going to be curious about A Rod's year-to-year Hall of Fame support. He has cleared all ties to PEDs, of course, but also a type of resume that might uh, trans uh, transcend it. A Rod, like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, can make a case for the greatest players at his position. In case we say shortstop, it's a case comes with a major caveat, but the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame Association, who was slowly becoming more lenient towards PED use, both with the passage of time and its and with the entry of new younger members, will A Rod eventually break through? It's breakthrough. It's easy to think otherwise, given that he's only gained 4 more votes from last year, but is 8 more years ahead of him. I don't know. I mean, I think that did leave a bad mark on him, you know, and baseball in general, you know. And A-Rod didn't become, the success with the Yankees we thought it was going to be. I mean, he did sign a 10-year, $460 gazillion contract, and he didn't really live to it. And he bolted out the contract early, and all the scandal with the PED use. I think that his induction to the Hall of Fame is going to be tarnished. I don't think it's going to happen. To be honest with you, I mean, he really let a lot of people down, himself down too. So yeah, it's rather a controversial case. I just don't see it. Maybe in a few years down the road, maybe something will happen. But for now, I just don't see A Rod really getting in there. Any thoughts? You think he's going to get in? Well, I'm sure you guys would, but I don't know. It's tough to say. Yeah. Yeah. And Mhm. A rather large can of worms. What do you say so myself? Yes, of course. Yeah, it's a tough call, but a lot of controversy, and I think what the Hall of Fame was trying to do is, shall we say, stay away from the controversy. When you think, I guess maybe not. Right? Sure. Mhm. Yeah, Right. Yes. And so I have to agree with that. I mean, because baseball's been tarnished enough. With controversy, the strike of '94, which almost destroyed baseball. So there was a lot of that, to factor in. Oh boy, is it ever? All right, so I'll move on now to the possible baseball trade update because we got a lot in here. There'll be trade rumors. Aha. Yeah, I think we should take care of that because the trade deadline is coming up, fastly approaching. In fact, it's on Tuesday. Oh boy, Tuesday at 6 o'clock is the trade deadline. But remember, players can still be off of waivers for the next couple of days after that. The trade deadline, that's last year's trade line. It went, I go to 2023. Oh boy, you see how the this doesn't line up all that well. Okay, there we go. Trade deadlines and trade tracker for this year. That's better. The things we do during live broadcast, folks. Okay, 2023 trade rumors. Now remember, things can change in the next couple of days. There's still time to think that out, but there's still time. Trade deadline is Tuesday. And what does Shohei Ohtani's future look like with the Angels? Could Marcus Stroman, Cody Bellinger, and Jack Flaherty be dealt to contenders? And which of the Dodgers, Braves, Rangers, and Giants will all go in the boost of 2023 World Series hopes? They're the ones that are in contention, guys. Okay, whether your favorite club is looking to add or deal away or stands somewhere in between, here is the freshest list we are hearing in reaction to complete deals as to what we know for every team trade season unfolds. So as of now, it stands like this, counting today. Will the Padres upend the trade market again? This is one time a year in baseball industry. A small sample size can make an enormous difference, and this might be the case for the Padres, who beat Texas last night to stay in the fringes of the NL wildcard race. Race can be increase the player chances, and that player chance at 29.8%. Rival executives say that AJ Preller and San Diego's head baseball operations have been in contact with other teams in assessing the trade value for some of the most elite players, such as pitchers Josh Hader, Blake Snell, and outfielder, of course, Juan Soto. They include the sense from other execs that Preller would prefer to keep his team intact or even add through the deadline, but he could pivot and decide to offload before the deadline. If Preller decides to clean house, he would instantly transform the trade market. Soto would become the best position player available and perhaps attract to a team like the Yankees. I don't know about that. I don't know about the Yankees. Maybe not. Hader would become the best reliever available, someone who could transform the bullpen of the Houston Astros, yuck, or the Atlanta Braves. Snell would become the best starter available for potential buyers like the Orioles or the Red Sox. The Padres made the biggest splash in the market last season when they acquired Soto, Hader, and others. They could have a similar impact this year as a one-stop shop for star talent. I'll buy that. Any thoughts on that, guys? That makes two of us. Steve? Sorry. No, that's right. The Orioles are still in first place. I mean, that's going to be a battle between the Orioles and the Rays to see who's going to get the number one seed. So, you know, you gotta stay close on that. Um, all right, Diane, you really want to know? Well, unfortunately, Despite the fact of a well-pitched pitcher's duel in the game, the Orioles won a home run in the bottom of the ninth inning and won 1-0. Yuck. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You had it in the bet. You had it. You were going to go to extra innings. Looked like it. There was one out, and then all of a sudden, at the bottom of the night, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Yuck. That's all I can say. Oh, I assume you saw it, Steve. You saw the game last night? Uh, here's the thing, guys. I was, tuning into Yes about 9:30. I thought, well, they were in the studio. I thought, okay, the game was over. Right? Little did I know that the game had a 2.5 hour rain delay. So I was thinking that the game was already over. Nope, it hadn't even started yet. Well, I'll be. And that's probably the storm that I'm expecting later over here. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. All right, so before I go to other trade news, I got some news here. Blue Jays left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu is set to return to the team on Tuesday against the Baltimore Orioles, said manager John Schneider. With the Blue Jays playing the next 17 games without a break, Schneider said that Ryu will be part of the six-man rotation. Ryu has not pitched since June of 2022 when he left a start against the White Sox after 4 innings and had elbow surgery 2 weeks later. Ryu, an all-star with the Dodgers in 2019, led the majors with an ERA of 2.32. Overall is 75-45 with a 3.27 ERA, not bad, in 170 games over 9 seasons since he came over from the Korean League in 2013. Seems like a long time ago. After 6 seasons in Dodger Town, Ryu signed a $480 million deal with the Blue Jays in December of 2019. He was 5-2 with a 2.69 ERA in the pandemic season of 2020 and was third in the American League Cy Young voting. Yeah, the Blue Jays, of course, are one of those teams on the outside looking in, so I think they're going to need Ryu's help, if they want to stay in contention for a wild card spot. Because right now, it's looking like it's just a race between Tampa Bay and Baltimore. And to think Baltimore started the year 8-7, everybody, and naturally people were thinking, well, not going to be much of a year here. So, but then again, 15 games in the baseball season isn't much. They have really poured it on since then, much to my dismay because I'm a Yankee fan. But that's how it's been. So hopefully it can turn that around. Hopefully Toronto can turn it around. There's still plenty of time up. There's still about 7-8 weeks left in the season. So anything can happen here. All right, on to more baseball news. Shohei Ohtani, or Show Me the Money Ohtani, hit his 38th home run of the season last night, but was forced to leave the game after suffering cramps for the second straight game. Okay, not good. But it's only cramps, so it doesn't seem to be anything, serious. Manager Phil Nevin said after the game Ohtani was taken out after he was cramping in both calves and was expected to be evaluated again today. Earlier, Ohtani left the second game of the doubleheader against the Tigers after the cramps happened. When asked if Ohtani was about to head the injury list, Nevin replied, "We are not even considering that. Don't be ridiculous. You're just cramping right now. It's kind of like in both legs. He has done a lot of work in the past few days and was not able to go." In game 1, he tossed a one-hitter for his first career shutout. Then he had 2 home runs in game 2, and that has never been done before in the league. He was the first player to do that. Ohtani's soreness started in the 8th inning in game 2 after he grounded out. He was replaced by Michael Stepnick in the 9th, who came in with bases loaded, but struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch by Jordan Romano and ended the Angels' 4-game winning streak. Now, of course, he has, a lot of home runs this year, and they're already thinking that he's going to break, the home run record that was set by Aaron Judge last year in the American League. But if he keeps up with these injuries, with cramps or whatever, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to break that record. I think he's going to come up a little bit short. I mean, it's not to say he won't hit 50 home runs, which I think is legit. But I don't think if he keeps having these problems with cramps or whatever is bothering him, I think 63 might be out of the question. I mean, I won't deny the start he had so far. I mean, 30 home runs, around even to August yet, I think is remarkable. But I don't know about 63 if this keeps up. Okay, Steve, your thoughts. Right? Yeah. All right. Matt? Right. Mm, okay. Yeah. All right. Jimmy? No. And Diane. All right. All right. I think Greg is here. All right. Greg, you were mentioning about the Earl Spencer and Crawford fight just a little while ago. I thought it was going to be tonight. So, but yeah, why don't you? Yeah, give me your analysis. Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I would take you over McGregor any day, Greg. I mean, they're mentioning about Conor McGregor. I would take Earl Spence over McGregor any day of the week. Hold it one at a time. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yes. No, you're right. He doesn't. Yeah. Right. Change hands. Yeah. Politics. Politics. Yes. Yes. Right. Right. Of course. Hey, but wait a minute, Greg. What about your thoughts from last week's British Open? I mean, the Open Championship. Excuse me. No, 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 no. Actually, okay. Wait a minute first. Then the British Open. Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, right. Well, here's something to think about. Despite not being one of P having not won a PGA Tour since 2017, entering the week with 171 odds to claim his first major championship, Hardman on Sunday rode a steering putting performance at Royal Liverpool. Oh wow! To claim victory at the 131st Open Championship, aka the British Open Championship. I just call it British Open. Force of habit. You know, um, that's when he last won the PGA event. Okay, yes, and the top champion golfer of the year. Yeah, really now. Okay, to continue on this, all right. Um, he also earned the title champion golfer of the year for this year. Wow, Hartman was not the most popular player and the best ball striker or the most impressive driver, but when the final putt dropped, he was undoubtedly the best golfer this week, silencing all doubters and claiming the claret jug. The claret jug. Hartman became the 15th American to win the Open in the last 20 years, maintained the successful 100% conversion rate 54 hole leaders who have taken a five-stroke or greater advantage into the final round at the major since 2000. In doing so he joins like Bobby Jones, Walter Hagen, Peter Thompson, Tiger Woods, that McElroy guy, to raise the jug at Royal Liverpool. Go ahead, go ahead. Yes, right. That's September. Yeah, I think it was 8 strokes. Wow. Yeah, it is sort of. Yeah, eight. And it's not easy to come back from either. Yeah. Hello, Roger. Yeah, yeah, right. Of course. Yeah. Congratulations to Hartman. I mean, good for the. It's good for the Americans too. You know. the one thing I'm not crazy about is saying that, considering his age, I said, "Oh, he is the oldest first-time major at 37 since Sergio Garcia in 37." People, since when is 37 old? Huh? 37 is not old. No, I find this kind of insulting. I mean, I'm 53 for crying out loud. Oops, shouldn't say that. 37 years old. According to who? Yeah. Some people just, all right, so you're not 18 or 19 years old anymore, but still, 37 old? Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So, okay, now I got my soapbox here. Okay. I just want to turn back to baseball for a little bit because the trade deadline's coming up, of course, as I said. By the way, Aaron Judge, yes, he did return to the Yankee lamp last night after missing 2 months almost with a toe injury, but that was spoiled in the ninth inning last night as the Orioles hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth. What a way to lose a game. Oh, boy. It was just came back since his injury on June 3rd when he crashed into the right left fence while making a spectacular catch against the Dodgers. The defending MVP walked 3 times and lined out in his only other at bat, and now trails the Orioles by 9 games. Ugh. He was reinstated yesterday, though not at 100%, 3 times, or he was 3 times a lady. Yes, that's true. I would think he would. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I gotta move on. Okay, so, though not at 100%, he was still healthy enough to play last night. Judge played a simulated game on Wednesday at the Florida complex before returning to New York. He faced live pitching at the stadium last Sunday, his first time since the injury. Aaron Boone said Judge hit a home run in a simulated game on Tuesday in Tampa. He also played the field and ran the bases. Okay, somebody having trouble? Judge played a DH and hit second lamp. Boone said he could. Boone said he could have played it in the field, but that's going to be a day-to-day decision. I think the Yankees need Judge if they're going to have any chance to catch up against Baltimore and Tampa, because without him, I think it's going to be a very rough stretch with about 58, 59 games to go, something like that. So I think they're going to need Judge to pull this out. And 9. No, it's true. I mean, because it is a very strong division. I mean, every team in this division is above 500. So it's not like, say, the AL Comedy Central, which is a joke. Mm, sorry, guys. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the AL East is the strongest, and the AL Central is the most pathetic. Oh boy, is it ever! So, but they're going to need Judge. Thank you. I speak the truth. So they're really going to need Judge to pull this out. He's got to start hitting home runs. Hopefully the pitchers will make a mistake and he'll get like about um, home runs that we desperately need. If we're ever going to catch Baltimore or the Rays, which have been having a number for years now, which I'm not happy about. So I'm glad to see he's going to get back. Maybe tonight, he'll shake off the rust and maybe get some base hits and home runs as they face the Orioles out there again. The problem is that it's in Baltimore, and we don't do well in Camden Yards at all. We haven't for years. So we got to be on our A game here, guys. All right, Yankee fans, your thoughts. I'm going to start with Mike. So, in other words, they don't have a prayer. Jimmy, your thoughts? Jimmy? All right, I'll go to Roger. Right. Well, that injury I think really shook us up. It took a lot. It took a lot from us. It did. You know. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And one big injury from a star player could really hurt as well. I mean, yeah, we've had players, teams that have been injured that they didn't make much of an impact, but Judge, that's a big out right there, and that hurts. So we're gonna need a lot of help from him. Okay. Any other thoughts from anybody else? Diane, any thoughts on Judge's return? Okay. Anybody from the non-Yankee fans? Okay, maybe I should have said non, but anybody else? Steve. All right. Okay, I think everybody. Matt. Okay. Before we go on with anything else, Diane, your trivia. Speak up. Gee, I think I know the answer. Nope. Is it the Griffies? 1990. 1990. Yep, I remember that well. Like father, like son. Yeah. Gail. Gail Garner. No, Samantha's too young. Gail Gardner. Yes. Yes. Remember, guys. Okay. Me. I'm going to say Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan. Thank you. Yeah, I would think that back in the 30s and 40s that was asking a bit much. I think back then it was only like about 100,000. So I think that was a little bit off. But in the 70s, that's when it started getting through the roof and stuff. So that was the obvious. Right. So that was that would make the perfect sense of how Ryan was the first player to make $1 million a year in baseball because back then there was no such thing as free agency, and that's before all the chaos started in baseball. with leading up the lockouts and strikes, et cetera, et cetera. Oh boy. Yes. 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 It had to be the Astros, though. Ugh. You just said the magic word right there, Astros. Yeah. Yes, yes, the cheaters. You just right in the mouth. Okay, on we go. Well, you guys know how I feel about the Astros. Ever since they beat the Yankees in that 2017 ALCS and that home run. Yuck. Yeah. All right, the Dodgers got an extended arm when they're in their shorthand rotation and a familiar face to the bullpen, acquiring Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly from the White Sox. They could use it. In exchange, the White Sox received outfielder Trace Thompson, who was drafted by the White Sox in 2009, along with minor leaguers Nick uh, Nastrani and Jordan Leisure. Lynn and Kelly will join at shortstop. Ahmad Rosario and Enrique Hernandez among the Dodgers additions this week, who could all be free agents at the end of the season. Lynn and Kelly both have club options for next season and are making a combined total of 27.5 million this season. Dodgers, are in the AL or in the NL West and in first place, and I think this could even extend further out their lead. Don't we think so, guys? I mean, because the Dodgers are pretty good now, but it's a tight race between the Dodgers and the D-backs. So I think this would be a good move for the Dodgers to increase their dominance in the NL West. Any thoughts? Mm. All right. Anyone else? Mm. Yeah, but that's in the AL. We're doing the NL, right? Yeah. Dodgers is the NL. So let's keep that in mind, okay? Yeah. Steve, any thoughts from the world of WWE or UFC? Oh, brother. Yeah. Yeah. You sure it's an accident? Okay. Right. Nice. All right. Well, the Yankees have another problem as their infielder outfielder Willie Calhoun was um, designated for assignment. Uh, he was reinstated from the 10-day injured list prior to the move. Calhoun landed on the injured list on June 22nd with a left quad strain and completed a six-game rehab stint for the Double A affiliate in Somerset. And Mike Diane and I are familiar with that stadium. Calhoun batted 239 with 5 home runs and 16 RBIs in 44 games in his first season in Pinstripes. Career wise, he bats 240 with 37 home runs and 120 RBIs and played for the Rangers and Giants before coming over here to the Big Apple. Mhm. So another tough break for the Yankees. as we lose an infielder and outfielder. Oh boy. All right. Ooh, okay. Jets fans, are you listening? Free agent Cook, New York yesterday, and sound hopeful about signing with Gang Green. He said, "I think the odds are very high." He said that NFL Network's program, Good Morning America. I mean, Good Morning Football. Good Morning America. Okay. I think we're in a position of a team that is building something special, and I want to be a part of something special as a player. I want to add to whatever's going on. I like that. I like that. I think the possibility is high right now of getting things done. Cook was on Long Island. He's on Long Island, and as the Jets are on their 2-day break, and they return Sunday. The Jets, before training camp on Sunday, at their annual green-white scrimmage. The game will be held in Florham Park, which the three of us are know it very well because it's only about 15 minutes where they live and 5 minutes where I live. No joke, guys. No joke. The running back said he'll be looking for a great vibe during his visit, adding he wants to be around people that want to love on Cook. From all indications, the Jets would have to add Cook, whom head coach Robert Saleh described as a dynamic ball carrier. At some point, Cook will have to take a physical, and the Jets will want to check on his shoulder that was repaired in the offseason. But the Dolphins and Patriots have also reported interest in signing Cook, but Cook did not have any visits scheduled for either team, adding that he'll be reevaluated after he meets with the Jets. A source told ESPN on Thursday that Cook was in talks with the Dolphins for a possible visit. Cook said the possibility of playing for his hometown Dolphins would mean so much to him, just a Cinderella story. I'm trying to go through them one step at a time, and the Jets are on the top of the list. So let's go check the box, shall we? Okay, Jets fans, what do you make of this? You think it's a possibility for Cook to come this way, or is he going to probably go to his hometown boys in Miami? Hello there. What for called in? Uh, oh, Joe. Okay, Joe. Good. Okay. All right, Jets fans. What do you make of Cook possibly coming to the Jets? I'll start that with Mike. Not a trade. It's not a trade. I think so. Okay, Jimmy. I know you're a Giant fan, but any thoughts, Jimmy? Okay. Roger. Any thoughts? All right. Uh, Matt. Yeah. Yes. All right. Yeah. With Tua. Yeah. Right. Tua. All right. Diane. Any thoughts at all? Yeah. Uh, Gerald. Your thoughts on Dalvin on Cook? You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. Wants to play with his hometown boys. Okay, I understand. Oh, by the way, get ready, guys, because football season starts on Thursday. That's right. How about this weekend? Exhibition season. Yep. Football fans have finally a game to look forward to, at least for the preseason. The Cleveland Browns, and the Jets will meet in the Hall of Fame game to kick off the NFL season for preseason on Thursday at Tom Benson Hall Stadium in Canton, Ohio. Oh yeah. While the game serves an opportunity, It's true. That's correct. Yeah, I want an update on that next week. So try to call if you can. Yeah. Can you do some sideline reporting for us on Saturday for the show while you're there? I know, but this is big for us Jet fans as well, and since you're part of the family, you know, because we do think of our college as family, right? Because we do think of our college as family here, folks. Just to keep that in mind. Okay, while the game is there's an opportunity to honor this year's group Pro Hall of Fame inductees, the main draw is for the many fans of seeing quarterback Aaron Rodgers on the field as a Jet for the first time. Whether he'll be in uniform in Canton or all this preseason is a difficult story to tell. He might not play the preseason, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he want probably set up for the regular season, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he did not play in the preseason for the Jets. But that does not indicate that that it's going to be a tough season ahead. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I know we don't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Who do you like in Thursday's game against the Browns and the Jets? Mike, Jimmy. Hmm. I'll get back to you. Roger, Gerald, Diane, Steve. Thank God. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Oh, yeah, Jimmy is not back yet. Did I get everybody, or did I miss somebody? Well, that is your hometown area, so I'm not surprised. Okay, did I get everybody there? Okay, and if Greg was here, probably would say the Jets. Maybe. All right. So I don't know about you, but I'm glad that football's back, even though it's a preseason. As Gerald would put, it's real football, not the other leagues such as the USFL or the XFL. Yeah, yeah, I had to I had to do it. Sorry. That's right. By the way, guys, remember once we start with a college and pro football season, we gotta keep the comments short so we can get all our picks in for those weeks. So like no more than 5 minutes per topic to discuss on once we get start with the college football season. Otherwise, I'll never get them all in. So just keep in mind when we start doing the college picks on August 19th, because August 26th is the start of the college football season, even though it is counted as week zero, or as we call it, the cream puff schedule. Well, they do. So just keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So moving on to the second half of the show. Um, Now you guys have heard. Oh wait, before we have a record-breaking moment here to mention. Now I know we don't follow swimming that much because it's not like one of the major sports here, but we have history in the making. As well, another Michael Phelps goes down as Golden Girls Queen Kayla Ledecky, who won the women's 800-meter relay to retain her title, surpassed with a 16th individual gold medal at the World Championships yesterday. Ledecky was from start to finish and touched the wall at 8:08:57 seconds outside her 2016 record. Swimmer to win the event 6 times and did it consecutively. That's kind of interesting to do it 6 consecutive times. Why do you say so myself? Gerald, are you okay? It sounds like some wind is blowing. Much better. Yeah. I know it gets a little hot and steamy there in Texas time of year, but I don't know. I've been there 3 times. Ugh. So she okay. This was the second win of the World Championships, along winning the 1500 meters, giving her 21 gold medals overall. She took silver in the 400-meter style, but that winning time in the seventh quickest she ever swam was not good enough, even in her favorite event. How interesting. So She also she finished the opening, and that's how that. But still, to break that record by Phelps is just remarkable. She is now the dominant swimmer, male or female, and congratulations on that. Remember, the Olympics is only 1 year away. Oh, speaking of women's sports, did anybody catch Wednesday's game against the U.S. versus the Netherlands? I was quite shocked. Yeah, kind of shocking, to be honest. I really thought that Portugal was going to be our toughest opponent, but the Netherlands, seem to be just as good as they are, and this proved to be a challenge for us. We did have a goal called back though in the second half, and we could have won that game if that wasn't called back. So it ended up a 1-1 draw. Remember, you can have draws in the first round of competition. So let's put it this way: if they don't win, I think they're going to have to need a win against Portugal on Wednesday if they're going to be able to advance to the knockout round. It may come down to goal differentials as well. So we're really hoping that the U.S. can win and avoid this mess, and make it to the second round. How do you see us? How do you see us against Portugal, though, Roger? You do. That was the match I was worried about. I was really worried about that match. Portugal's a strong team. Matt, hmm. Mike. Well, they got to get through this game first. Gerald, Diane, Steve. These gonna be a draw, huh? All right. Like I said, I'm a little worried about this match. But I think maybe the U.S. can take it, but I think it's going to be like a 1-0 finish if that happens. So, right, yes, right. Okay, I'll buy that. All right, and speaking of soccer, Lionel Messi scored a pair of goals in his first start for Miami against Atlanta in a shutout on Wednesday night. He and Sergio Biscuits were both named to the starting lineup for the first time since joining the MLS. It did not take long for the Barcelona teammates to make an impact as Biscuits lofting a perfect ball off Atlanta's defense to Messi his first attempt, but put back the rebound from his own goal, from his own shot to give Miami the opening lead. I guess Miami's been looking for Messi, and they got him. He's doing pretty well for the team so far, even though they're still in last place. Messi added another goal on a counterattack in the 22nd minute to make it 2-0. Robert Taylor scored the last two goals with an assist coming from Messi, who was subbed in the 78th minute and got a rousing ovation from the crowd and deserved it. Miami and Atlanta are playing in the first leg of the League Cup, which is a World Cup style like tournament that features MLS against Liga Mexican sides. Messi is scheduled to make his first MLS official debut on August 20th, which is also the same day as the Women's World Cup final. Imagine that. But it's just a coincidence. So Messi's really holding us in the bargain. I think he's been worth the hype so far. Any thoughts on that, guys? All right. Anybody else have any thoughts? Anybody else have any thoughts on the continuation of Messi mania, as I like to call it? Yes. Yeah. Even better than Pele? Let's not get carried away. Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm just showing my age here because I remember when Pele I went to see, Pele play in the, let's from the record, please. I mean, I know it was almost 50 years ago, but you don't forget moments like that. Yeah. Of course, some argue that Cristiano Ronaldo is like that as well, so, give or take. Okay, moving on to basketball, as they're playing basketball, the Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown has agreed to a ridiculous, 5-year deal worth a staggering, you ready for this, guys? I hope you're all sitting down. $304 million. In case you missed that, I said $304 million. What a shame. Brown and his agent, Jason Gulshin, met with Celtics management um, and ownership Monday, finalizing their main elements of a historic deal that keeps the All Star under contract with the Dread Celtics at the end of the decade, much to my dismay. Brown's deal exceeds the $276 million deal held by the Joker with the Nuggets on increased base on the rise of the salary cap and league revenue. Brown took a physical on Tuesday to solidify the deal. Brown will become eligible for a supermax 5-year supermax extension with the Celtics upon earning all second team honors in the upcoming season. I think we have another call on the list. Let me just see if I and we do. I'd like to welcome Melvin from Las Vegas, first time on this show, but no stranger to blood to the radio world at all. Because some years ago, I was on his show that was on Friday nights. Melvin, it's nice to have you on the show after all this time. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. It's been a long time. I'm waiting for you to come on. Welcome aboard. So we're also discussing right now with the super deal with Boston. So your thoughts on that on Jalen Brown? Ah, yeah, no, no. I would think so too. Um, by the way, Mel, who do you follow in the NBA? I never got a chance to ask the question. Good man, good man. I'm a Laker fan myself. Well, what do you make of I was going to say this later, but since you brought it up, his son Bronny had a incident with going into cardiac arrest on Monday. Had to be taken to the hospital. I mean, it's the second time this year we've seen a player or soon to be player, going into cardiac arrest just out of nowhere. Luckily, he's okay now. Yes. Yeah, I'm glad. Sure. Yeah. Yes. Right. I mean, it was scary enough when we saw Damar Hamlin of the of the Bills going to cardiac arrest during a live game, which I think, which many of us saw, and we were just like in disbelief and shock. Like, how could this happen? And he was taken to the hospital, and they almost thought he was pronounced. They actually pronounced him dead when he wasn't. So that was a mistake on their part. I'm glad he's okay. Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, 5 years ago. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Luckily, luckily he was no. But that's the thing. I mean, weren't they I mean, I think that, coaches and whatnot should be aware of the player's medical condition before they even should be even out there to play. I mean, that's their responsibility, to take care of and find out what their health issues are before they should be even be considered playing. And I think that's a mistake on their part. But anyway, all the one at a time. Yeah, you do gotta be mindful because we're talking about your health here. We're talking about your life. So anyway, this he was treated at USC Medical Center where he was practicing. They took him to the hospital and was out of ICU, was in stable condition by Monday, and now he's back to his old self. He LeBron posted on Instagram this morning that he was actually playing piano and was out to dinner last night with his family and friends at an Italian restaurant. So he seems to be doing well. So talk about a very quick recovery. I like that. But and by the way, at the restaurant he had a bottle of red and a bottle of white, whatever kind of you're into. Never mind. Never mind. Yes. Oh, he got it. Okay, you guys got the joke. Okay. Yeah. In an Italian restaurant. Okay. Yes. Right. Yes. Yes. It is. Mm, yeah. But you got to be more responsible for this. You know, your health is not worth risking. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, moving on to more football news. Bengals coach Zach Taylor said that he expects Joe Burrow to miss several weeks after a calf strain. Okay. Burrow was cut off the field in injury during practice on Thursday. I wrote this in yesterday, but it was Thursday. He was rolling right into drills as he pulled up short in what looked to be a non-contact injury, and later was cut off the field. Joe got more days in July than he ever did in the NFL, Taylor told reporters. So I really feel good about the progress we made during those practices. We had this month that we had with Joe. As soon as he would return, we'll be able to get the work in that we need. The Bengals open up the season against the Browns on September 10th. If Burrow is not able to go in the opener, they will have to rely on either Trevor Simeon and Jake Browning on the quarterback depth chart. This is the third straight year that Burrow has been dealing with injuries. So that's a little bit of a concern right there because he doesn't seem to be pretty healthy, you know, getting injury after injury in consecutive years. So this does kind of worry me about the Bengals. So anyway, in 2021, he got the double whammy as he was recovering from both an MCL and ACL injury in his left knee. Oh boy. In his rookie season. In 2020, when he entered the league during the pandemic. Last year, he suffered a ruptured appendix that required surgery just days before camp was about to start. Oh boy, you can't play with that. Brown is now in his fourth year of LSU coming off his best season as a pro, as and in contract discussions with the Bengals that could make him the highest paid player in the league. Hmm. Yeah, but if he was getting hurt like that, you can kiss that goodbye. Wouldn't you think so? So another setback for Burrow. What do you make of that, guys? That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. Big time. Big time. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Matt, if you're still here, yeah, right, right. Okay. Matt, yeah. Matt, if you're still here, hold on, guys. I want to get right. Okay, Matt, I want to get your thoughts on something since you're still here. Uh, are you also a Bruins fan by any chance? Oh wait, you're from Ohio, but you guys, I've heard about, of course, you guys know or heard of Patrice Bergeron, of course, right? Even though you're not Bruins fans, well, he announced his retirement back on Wednesday. He retires one day short of his 30th birthday. He considered retirement a year ago, but returned for a 1 year deal and led the Bruins to the best regular season record in NHL history, only to be cut short by the epic first round collapse of the Panthers, which really shocked me. The Bruins lost to the Panthers, who lost to the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals. Bergeron has one title to his credit as the Bruins beat the Canucks in 2011 but lost in 2013, and spent his entire 19-year career with the Bruins, which is something you don't really see normally. One player with a team for that kind of longevity. He finishes as a three-time All-Star, but was one of the best two-way centers. He won the Sea League Trophy as the league's best defensive forward, a record 6 times, and won the award the past 2 seasons. He finished his career with over 1,000 points and 427 goals. Great player, when you think, even though I'm not a Bruins fan myself, but he was a great player for the Bruins. Yeah, definitely Hall of Fame material. Definitely, he'll get in first ballot. No question about that. And as much as I, of course, like to do great stories, there is times where I have to come up, of course, and put in sad stories. And I think none is sadder this week than what happened to the 2 year old grandson of Bucks coach Adrian Griffin. He died last week after the child's father said he was not being responsive. Jace D. Griffin was pronounced dead last Saturday morning at the Carl Foundation Hospital, according to Champaign County Coroner Dwayne Northrup. The coroner's office said that reports from an autopsy conducted last week that there were no signs of trauma or foul play involved, thank goodness. At the time, it said Jace appeared to die from natural causes, pending additional testing and autopsy results. The death is under investigation. That has got to be sad when you lose a child like that, only even at 2 years old. I mean, that is just so heartbreaking. And our condolences go out to the family. Jeez. All right, moving along. The Hurricanes are going to bring back defenseman Tony DeAngelo for a 1 year deal in his second stint with the team in the last 3 seasons. The deal announced on Tuesday We'll pay him over $1.6 million for DeAngelo, who spent the 2021-22 season with the Hurricanes as an offensive threat on the blue line. DeAngelo with 41 assists in 64 games that had 1 goal and 9 assists in 14 playoff games that season. The Hurricanes trade DeAngelo to the Flyers last summer for a 4th-round pick last summer. You guys know I can't stand the Flyers. And scored 11 goals and 31 assists in 70 games. The Flyers had originally signed him a 2-year deal worth $10 million after acquiring him, but was placed on unconditional waivers last month. And they say he can't go home again. Yeah, right. But DeAngelo's going home. So will this boost Carolina's playoff chances next season? Maybe. Anybody can answer. Yeah, I guess nothing can be fun for Carolina. Okay. Anyone else? Steve, you trying to say something? Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts? Okay, I'll move on. All right. I got some notes for USA basketball, which because the World Cup is starting next month. They named their 14 players selected to the roster on Tuesday, that will serve as the opponent for Team USA during its upcoming training camp for the preparation for the FIBA World Cup, plus providing ground for future national team slots. The select team is stacked with recent draft picks who are seen as the next generation of Team USA basketball and will be coached by Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Orlando Magic. Training camp will be held in, get this, Melvin, in Las Vegas next week. How about that? I knew this was why I wanted you to come on. Cade Cunningham, the top pick of 2021, who missed almost all of last season with the Pistons due to a shin injury, should be ready for camp. Chet Holmgren, the number 2 pick from the Thunder, who missed all of last season but returned for summer league games, will play alongside Jalen Williams, who finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting. Also from 2022 draft class is Keegan Murray of the Kings and Jalen Duren for the Pistons. Third-year players Trey Murray and Herb Jones of the Pelicans, Jalen Green of the Rockets, and Quentin Grimes of the Knicks will all take part in camp. 4-year vets Peyton Pritchard of the Celtics and Naz Reid of the Wolves will also play. Any of this group would be a strong candidate to be promoted to the first team if needed, which has happened in the past. No, but I also want to get your thoughts on the summer league that happened because that was in Vegas. So, and what do you think of Wembanyama? No, right. Melvin, are you there? No, is Melvin still there? Melvin? His mic must be off. All right. But it looks like a pretty stacked lineup for Team USA, and wish them all the best of luck. They can use it though because they've been pretty cold in the World Cup basketball competition. We do find the Olympics, but we don't seem to do well in the WBC tournaments. Hopefully that'll change. And like I said, that begins on August 25th. Right around the same time as the U.S. Open. Okay, well, one player that will not be there for playing in the World Cup would be Nikola Jokic. He will not play for the Siberian team as he rests for the Nuggets extended postseason. Jokic is coming off a season where he played 89 total games, including the playoffs, guiding them to their first title. Since 2019-2020, Jokic, the 2-time MVP, has played in 288 regular season games, which is ranked 9th in that span. Jokic has played for the Siberian national team 3 times since entering the league in the 2016 and also was in the 2016-19 World Cups and last summer's Eurobasket tournament. That's a lot of time playing, so I can understand why he needs a rest. This year's World Cup begins August 25th throughout Asia, and the tournament will produce 7 berths for next summer's Olympics. So I can understand why. I mean, he's exhausted. I mean, how much can a guy put in? All that time. Postseason that. So I'm not surprised at all. He can use the rest because remember, players report the training camp at the end of September. So I think he will now need a rest. Okay. Now here's an interesting story here. Minnesota Timberwolves forward Kyle Anderson is now a citizen of China through the naturalization of the Chinese basketball nation that was announced on Sunday. The, the forward from New York is the latest athlete to gain Chinese nationality and the first NBA player to do so. He obtained citizenship on Sunday and met Yao Ming, the chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association, the CBA, sent a post through its official Weibo account. Citizenship will allow Anderson to play for China in next year's FIBA World Cup and next year's Olympics in Paris. Now you're wondering, how is he a natural citizen of China? I will explain. Okay, well, first, was FIBA allows one naturalized player on the roster. The Chinese media reported that Anderson's maternal grandmother was born in Jamaica to a Jamaican mother and a Chinese father. So now that explains why he's a natural citizen of China. Okay, I get it now. China had announced an 18-member squad for the World Cup. However, FIFA said the final rosters will be confirmed only after a meeting that is set to take place before the tournaments. So that explains why he's a citizen of China. He had a father born there. I was not aware of that until recently. So that explains that right there. No, that's of course noteworthy right there. Okay, the Brewers acquired Carlos Santana from the Pirates, attending the sharp offense as they try to hold on to first in the NL Central. Santana was dealt to a contending team for the second straight season after going from the Royals to the Mariners last season. Long considered a clubhouse leader, Santana will be at first base for Rowdy Hilson, who was recovering from a forearm injury, tore a fingernail on a chain link fence that's ugly, during batting practice. In exchange for Santana, the Pirates received 18-year-old shortstop Johnny Severo, who signed with the Brewers for $1.23 million last summer and currently plays for the Arizona Complex League. At the time of this report, the Brewers were 57-46 and led the NL Central division despite only scoring 423 runs, 3 fewer than their top-notch pitching staff has allowed, while resurging Christian Yelich has placed the offense only one other season longer than catcher William Contreras. And of course, Carlos Santana was also with a Black Magic Woman. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mentioned the Dolphins a little while ago, but the Dolphins might be in trouble here as cornerback Jalen Ramsey will undergo surgery on his left knee and expected to miss the start of the season, of the regular season. Ramsey's ACLA is intact. It was not instantly known how long Ramsey would be out for, but sources say he could miss a few months depending on how the surgery goes. So he might be out the whole season. He says when he does get back, he'll return stronger than ever. We'll see. Incidentally, he left practice after colliding with wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Now, Ramsey was on 11-11 drills in day 3 of training camp, but appeared to get tangled up in coverage. Both players fell to the ground, and Ramsey sat up right before standing on his feet. He attempted to walk off the injury before leaving in the field under his own power. Athletic trainers attended to his knee for the remainder of practice. Ramsey was carted off the field to the locker room as practice ended. At the time, there was no official status of the report to practice. So cornerback Kader Caillou, he is going to be fine when asked about his secondary mate and safety. Javon Howard spoke to Ramsey on the sideline. He did not want to speculate any potential injury. So a little bit of tough break for the Dolphins right there. Let's hope they can do without him. Any thoughts on the Dolphins? Yeah. Mhm. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Aren't we all? Mike, can you hear me? Mike, can you hear me? I hear something in your on your end. Yeah, yeah. Can you try to control that if possible? All right. All right. So moving along. So I knew there was something up at Ramsey on that one. Okay, so moving along. Yeah, the Twins are. Oh, by the way, Mike, I think your Mets might need some help with their pitching coming out because even despite the fact that their top payroll, their pitching is not getting the job done. The dismantling of the Mets, who have the highest payroll in the majors, began late on Thursday when they traded closer David Robertson for two to the Marlins for two rookie players who have not even out of their teenage years yet. Robertson took over the closer role after the Mets star Edwin Diaz injured his knee in a World Baseball Cup celebration. Robertson was a stalwart at the back end of a shaky bullpen, posting an ERA of 2.05 in 44 innings, striking out 48 batters, and made 14 saves. He will join. Yeah, yes, yeah. I expected better. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I expected better from them this year, coming off the 102 win last year. But this is not how they have been. Right now, they're at uh, 57 and 48. It was 55 and 40. Okay, right. 48 and 55, I should say. Well, actually, 40. Well, actually, now, wait, hold on. Actually, now 50 and 54, because I wrote this on Thursday. They had the fifth worst record in the NL, and they were six at back of the Marlins after not after not making around playoff contention over the last few weeks. They started to deal from their underachieving roster with Robinson. Oh boy. And yes, right. I thought it was no, no, yes, they do. They do. Well, the thing is, though, I expected more from um, Scherzer and Verlander, but they're not getting the job done. Oh, bad. Yes, they do. Well, they've been a major disappointment. I'll put it to you that way, right, Mike? Yeah, that was the problem. You traded the wrong guy. That's all I can tell you. You traded the wrong guy. Well, I mean, you should have kept the Grom. You should have kept him. They could have, but, still, yeah, for the year. Yeah. Okay, moving along. Yeah. Okay, moving along. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers has agreed to a reworking of his contract and takes a sharp pay cut in the process. Rodgers agreed to a full 2-year guarantee of $75 million with the Jets. So that's what ESPN confirmed and report by the NFL Network. It represents a pay cut of $33.7 million from the $108 million he was owed when he signed with the Packers last season. He has not signed the rework contract with the Jets, so told ESPN. The Jets' salary cap will be reduced by the same amount as his pay cut, which will allow the Jets to acquire more talent that would have been able that they would have been able to acquire under the contract assumed from the Packers in April. No team player has ever revised his contract in a team focused manner. Rodgers confirmed the agreement on Thursday. Rodgers restructured his contract with the Packers in April, pushing a $58.3 million option bonus fully guaranteed in the 2024 season, which is the final year of his deal. Basically, he was on the books for 3 months with the minimum salary for the season only $1.2 million over the cap. Uh, though the low cap number provided flexibility for the Jets, it left a cap charge of $107 million in 2024. Okay. Any thoughts on that? That's a big pay cut, I think, don't you think? Okay, no comment. All right. Now for something I don't get. MLB 30 vote all of the MLB voters voted to extend Rob Manfred's tenure as commissioner through January 2029. Why? I have no idea. The deal puts Manfred in line to guide the owners through another round of collective bargaining, as the current CBA is set to expire at the end of the 2026 season. Manfred still has one season left on his current deal and was extended another 4 years. His new deal will keep him on the job through January 29th, 2029. Boy, I'll be really old by then. Manfred began working with MLB by helping the collective bargaining in 1987 and joined the league full time in 1988, serving as executive vice president, mostly dealing with labor relations and economic issues for the past 17 years. He succeeded Bud Selig as commissioner in January 25, where this will be his second extension. Now, they can only get rid of Gary Bettman as commissioner for the NHL. Yeah, I don't see it happening either, though. I mean, but he almost destroyed, baseball. As the lockout was going to happen almost last year, whatnot. So I don't know. I mean, he's not really well liked as a commissioner either. You know. So is it even really worth up another 6 years? I think I'm just being too kind. I don't think he was worth it. He's not that great of a commissioner anyway. Well, you could think the new rules for that. You can think the new baseball rules for that for the attendance going up. Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, Mike, wait, Mike, I got some good news for you and Giants fans. Giants fans, this is good news. You're gonna like it. Running back Saquon Barkley and the Giants have come to terms on a 1-year, $11 million deal. The deal also includes a $2 million signing bonus, according to sources. News of the agreement came from the NFL Network back on Wednesday. I knew it was come to a sense sooner or later. Last week, Barkley appeared on the Money Matters podcast, saying that he might have to take it to the next level amid his stalemate with the Giants over a long-term deal and considered not playing this season. The last player to do that was Le'Veon Bell. The Giants and Barkley did not reach a deal before the franchise players agreed to long-term deals, meaning he had to play under the franchise tag with a measly $10 million. Well, which is not really that measly, but $10 million from what he was going to make in the next season, that'd be a pretty big drop. So I think I speak for all Giants fans out there that they're glad to have Barkley back. Wouldn't you think so? Right, Mike? Jimmy? All right. Yeah. Roger? Okay. Yeah. Diane, your thoughts on Barkley playing another year? That's true too. Steve? No comment. Anybody else? Hmm. And yes, I yeah, yeah, right. I got moving along, guys. Okay, I got moving along. Okay. Steve, I got some good news for you. You're gonna like this. As yeah, this is good. Um, 3 hours before Washington Commanders began practice, something unusual happened at the facility. Fans were online to watch them. The small handful turned to be 10,000 fans or something like that. Something that has not been seen in the past 10 years. So how about that? The highlights of the new excitement since a group led by Josh Harris bought the team from Dan Snyder, who owned the team since 1999. The Snyder era was highlighted by more than of off the field than on the field success and caused an erosion of the fan base. In light of the last 3 seasons, it was incredible, said Coach Ron Rivera said today. To see them come out in force today, that was excellent, and our players really appreciate it. I know the new ownership really appreciates it as well, with the renewed interest. Team officials say they are close to a sellout as they open the season at home against the Cardinals on September 10th. You got like that, Steve. I mean, fans are coming out, and this is only in practice. I thought you would. That's like the feel good story of the week if you're a Commanders fan. Yeah, but of course, the ridiculous is two players got involved in a brouhaha this week in baseball, and both players were bench including brawls happened. No punches were thrown, but still, just another ugly incident. Yeah, base brawl as we call it. And I think anybody that does stuff like that is considered to be the ridiculous sign of the week. If I can get to the story here, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hmm. So, somebody's always got to try to pull something though, uh, you know, just to make it, stupidity. Now, Brock Purdy returns to the Flyers ahead of schedule after having elbow surgery. So, I'm glad to hear about that. All right, so let's go to this week in history. Oh, by the way, before I do that, does anybody have anything for the best and worst of the month? Anybody? Anybody have anything for best and worst of the month of July? I think you might be right about that. Okay, good. Anyone else? That's one of them. Well, I have one for the worst. There was a cyclist that was killed in a race last week, out in Italy, and was only 17 years old, and that's pretty sad right there. Also, with the story I just mentioned about the 2-year-old grandson dying, that's there's nothing worse than losing a child. And the best I think would have to be the home run derby. Yeah. Uh huh. All right. So let's begin. 1921, Cleveland's 125th celebration. Cy Young, uh, 54 pitches in 2 innings. Okay, moving along. 1938, Olympic National Park established in Washington State, longest underdeveloped coastline in America. 1948, King George VI opens the Summer Games at Wembley Stadium in London. 1950, Pee Wee Reese hits number 3,000. 1951, the 30th Tour de France was won by Hugo Koblet of Switzerland. I have no idea who's winning this year. 1957, Floyd Patterson beats Tommy Jackson, TKOs him in the 10th round for the heavyweight boxing championship. 1965, Major League record 26 strikeouts, Phillies 16, Pirates 10. Wow. Cincinnati Reds George Culver no hits the Phillies 6-1. There was a walk on there, so that's why it was 6-1. That was in 1968. In 1974, Cardinals Lou Brock steals his 700th base. Wow. 1978, Old Timers Day. New York Yankees announced that Billy Martin will return as Yankee manager in 1980, and Bob Lemon will become GM before Martin gets fired again, and fired again, and fired again. Yeah, okay. 1983, Steve Garvey ends his record 1,207th consecutive game streak. Very impressive. 1986, New York jury rules NFL violate antitrust lawsuits and awards the USFL $1 in damages. And so ends the league of the USFL. Sorry. I remember that. Yeah, years later under an undeveloped league. 1989, Phillies retires Steve Carlton's number 32 jersey. Nicely done. 1989, Vince Coleman's record streak stopped at 50 straight stolen bases. 1990, Red Sox Major League record with 12 doubles in a game. 12 doubles. Wow. 1991, first Sunday night game at Shea Stadium, but the Mets lost to the Cubs 6-0. 1991, Yankee Stadium fans throw cups and blow up balls at Jose Canseco. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. 1993, Cincinnati Reds pitcher Thomas Browning arrested for marijuana possession. 1995, the Panthers beat the Jaguars in their first exhibition game 20-14. 1995, Monticello beats Martina Navratilova in a return to tennis. Okay. And Tommy Lasorda retires in 1996 with a record 1,559 wins, 1,439 losses, 4 National League pennants, and 2 World Series championships. One more thing, 2001 80th Tour de France, no winner. Lance Armstrong was disqualified for obvious reasons. Well. All right, guys. Yes. For those of you who weren't paying attention, that's what he was arrested for. All right, guys. We're just out of time. We're going to wrap it up. Going to make way for Rasal as he does a fine show. I want to thank everyone for coming in. Good crowd this week. as we wrap up July. Next week, we'll, of course, do the baseball standings. We'll take care of any trades that have happened. Look at the calendar events, and we'll keep up with our Women's World Cup as they try to advance to the second round, and also take preseason NFL picks. We'll go over the schedule. I'll only take one game from each since it doesn't count in the standings. So we'll do the divisions and we'll count what game you like the best that week. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for coming in, and we'll talk again next week. Same time, same station. Same time, same station. On that note, have a good week. All right.